Cool. So this is Order of the Phoenix on Game Boy Advance, often considered the least well-designed Game Boy Advance game, but it's okay. It has a lot of good stuff actually. There's a few bits where it sort of loses a bit of focus, but it's actually not as bad a game as people think it is. But we'll just get started. So I'm gonna just start a countdown now, and we'll get right into the game. So 3, 2, 1, go. So right at the beginning here, we're going to see how sort of like the camera and the angles work in this game. So everything's in these like fake environment picture things. And it means that sometimes when you move, the angle you're holding isn't actually the angle you're going to move. So it's about getting used to sort of what each screen sort of wants you to move in, and like how you need to navigate the terrain. And we're just going to head up here and go and see some Dementors. And actually, in my practice run of this, I actually managed to soft lock the game right here. The cutscene that loads here didn't actually load, so I actually couldn't actually progress through the game within the first 20 seconds of starting the game up, which is always good. So with this game, when you're moving, if you hold a direction as you enter a screen, Harry won't move until you change the direction you're holding. So you can't just hold like down into a screen and then start moving. You have to hold like down right and then move to down as you enter the screen, which is slightly annoying, but you get used to it. Cool. So we're going to do some spell casting now. So you're basically just trying to keep the wand in the middle of the circle. If it goes too far out, you lose time, but it's pretty easy. Oh, wand, why are you not moving? Oh, okay, learn something new every day. Apparently if you press the wand button too early, you can't move the wand. It's nice to know. Well-designed game this is. Cool, so we're done with that. So we can leave. Luckily, we don't have to be in the same room as a character when they're like automatically talking. We can leave and they still talk to us. Now we have to help Ron, who's lost his lost 2 badges. So we have to go and grab those for him. There's one up here. And there's one all the way down on the bottom as well. There we go, all the way back there. It's actually quite hard to tell how far away that actually is, because sort of depth perception isn't really a thing in this game. You have to sort of hope you get to the right spots. So we're going to give those to Ron. And so for text in this game, you can only use A to mash, which is different from pretty much every other GBA game. Pretty much every other one you can use A and B, but this one is just A, so it's a bit slower. And for some reason on the Incendio minigame, sometimes the dots can move super fast and you can't actually hit them, so you lose time. Which is slightly annoying, and there's not anything you can do about it, really. You just have to take the time loss. But now we're going to go back and see Sirius. Thank you, game. Cool. So now we're in Hogwarts. And essentially, at the beginning of every day, you have to talk to Hermione, who will start the day off for you. Then you have to follow a set path each day. And it will sort of spawn you in different places, depending on where it wants you to go. So here we have to walk down the entire staircase. You'll get to see everything. Normally we get walked up and down this staircase, depending on where we need to be on the staircase. So It's only really this time you get to see the entire staircase. It's also a pain to navigate because you get stuck on stuff very easily. Like there. Oh. Stop talking. That's another thing. You can talk to Ron and Hermione in this game, but if you're trying to sort of mash your way through text, you can just accidentally talk to them a lot. You have to be quite careful with how you mash text. Cool. So we're going to grab a chocolate frog here, and it's the only one we get in the entire game. They're a 100% requirement, but we have to grab this one to carry on with this day. So there we go into the Great Hall, and that loads the cutscene, but we don't have to be in the Great Hall for the cutscene to work. You just have to have gone in there. Now we're going to head all the way back up the stairs. Stop talking to Ron and Hermione. And you'll see here, we should get walked up the stairs. Like that. So it means we don't have to walk all the way up and down. Well, now we're going to head to the bedroom. And we're going to get our first instance of a mini-game, which are a thing in this game as well. So we get to play Exploding Snack. So we have to match the locations. So normally you can tell what they are before it loads properly. So for example, that is right. That is right. That is right. And that is right. They were all right. Oh. No, that's not the right direction. Oh. Stop talking to them. So now we're going to head down to potions. Which means we have to go all the way down here. No. So what's an annoying thing with this game is that sometimes when you go through loading zones, the game will just sort of put you back through the loading zone again without any reason. So sometimes when you see me sort of going through a loading zone and going back through the loading zone and getting stuck, that's not, for the most time, that's not me. That's the game just getting you stuck in the loading zone for some reason. And here we get walked again. Please move, Harry. So I think this is really a game of like, a game which had good intentions, but is just fairly poorly implemented across the board. I'm down in the dungeons. Cool, so now we're going to make a potion. Oh, I can't read apparently. And essentially for potions we're just mixing stuff as we go. That's not the button I'm pressing, game. Okay, we need 9 of those. And this is completely RNG, so it can be any number, it can be any item, it can be anything. And that's the end of the day. Cool, so now we need to head to the hospital wing. Please stop getting stuck on the stairs. I keep trying to look at the chat to see if there's any questions or anything, but each time I look away, I keep getting stuck on items. And this is Colin. Colin tells us that we need to go to the hospital wing, so that's where we're going to go. Yeah, so annoyingly, there are these portraits in the castle that sort of warp you round, but you unlock them as you go, and they're not really useful anywhere other than when the game instructs you to go through them. So they're a bit pointless, really, but whatever. Cool, so now we need to go and get this student's gobstones back for him. So we're going to go and fight this bully. And this bully's going to challenge us to a game of exploding snap again. That's that one. That should be that one. That should be that one. Oh, I didn't really look at that one properly. That was my fault for being a bit too fast. That's that one. That's that one. Cool. And we've got his gobstones. Now we can go and give him his gobstones back. Oh, please go the right way, Harry. So now we need to head all the way back out of here to go to the entrance hall. And annoyingly, if you go to the entrance hall straight away, she's not there, so you can't sort of like skip parts of the quests and stuff. You have to do every part of every quest. So we're going to head down the stairs, go and see Angelina. Yeah, see, so it walks us down if it wants us to sort of go somewhere. Cool, so now we've lost Ron, which is great, because it means we can't accidentally talk to Ron. And now we get our first instance of dueling. So we're going to go down here and see these bullies who are just sort of looking at a wall for no reason. Cool, and now we're going to duel. So essentially you want to use, I think it's Rictus Sempra, because it's the powerful spell. So it does the most damage, it knocks all of these guys out in one go. Probably should have used Stupefy there, but whatever. Oh, actually, no, it's fine. Yeah, so that's about as good as that can go. Cool, so we're going to head off to Defense Against the Dark Arts. The thing with dueling is that they actually have shields and stuff that they can put up, so sometimes you can be sat there for hours while they put up like 20 shields in a row. Of course, we need to go apparently back through that loading zone. We need to go through here. And there's another duel we're going to do now, but we're a lot weaker now because we don't have Fred and George anymore. So this will take a lot longer to do. Yeah, see, like that, he has a shield now, which means that we can't, if we hit him, we're wasting our spell. So we'll leave it for now, because the shield will go away when he casts his next spell, hopefully. Unless I've forgotten how this game works, which I have. It's fine, we can get rid of the shield in a sec. Normally for shield, if you use Stupefy, it gets rid of the shield and also stuns him for a turn, so you can't use the shield again in a row. So that just sort of is a safety thing. It's slightly slower, but it just makes sure you don't get shielded again. Cool, so that's not too bad actually. Cool, so now we're going to go to class. Cool, and here's Umbridge, looking lovely as ever. Now we sort Hermione again. Well, essentially, we need to finish our potions homework, but we don't have the book. And Padme Patil has got the book, so we have to go to the Great Hall to grab the book off her. Well, obviously, she won't just give us the book, because that doesn't make any sense in video game world, so we have to play a mini-game to get the book off her. So we just have to sort of keep this in the middle. It's not hard. It's very lenient, to be fair. Like, even if it's really far out, it still works. Cool, so now we get the book. So now we have to get this, I think it's a scarf off the top of here. Yeah. Which requires another mini-game that we have to do. Oh, that was really bad. I moved a bit early. So that's actually RNG which circles it chooses, so you have to just sort of hope you get the right ones. Cool, so now we're going to head up to the library to go do some studying. Also, for some reason that lagged massively. I've never seen it lag that much before. So we're going to head down here. And we can't just go straight to the library, we have to help Moaning Myrtle first. Because someone's broken all the toilets. Because Hogwarts is apparently an awful place where people just get bullied and stuff gets destroyed. And I'm not sure who's coming into this bathroom and smashing up toilets, but whatever. So we can use this spell again to just fix it. Because apparently you can fix, like, massive plumbing issues with Reparo. Cool. Now that's done, we can leave again. We can actually go to the library now. Although we can't just go straight to the library. We have to do another duel! Yay! There were tons of these, so just get ready for the number there are. And for some reason, this duel uses the background from the Clock Tower Courtyard. No clue why. Yeah, and Harry was stunned there. Ron's been stunned, which is not helpful. Like I said, you can literally just get sort of stun locked into not being able to move for a while. So I'll stupefy so that he can't attack. Thank you, game. Okay, cool. So I'm done now. Yeah, we'll power up our spells later so we can actually kill stuff easier. But no, yeah, so we're going to go head to the library. Just through here. And this is like the worst loading zone in the game. It can just send you back and forth for literally no reason for like hours. Luckily, it wasn't too much of an issue. So we're going to head to the library, if we can get through this door. There we go. Door's obviously the greatest enemy in this game. And then the library has 2 paths, so we're going to head down the right path this time. Your head, like, it sort of changes which one you need to head down depending on sort of who you're talking to, really. So Hermione's always down this one. Now we have a multiple choice quiz. Oh, that was how I do the right answers. So with this quiz, let's concentrate. No, that's not right. So with the quiz, all the questions are set, so you can't there's a set group of questions you can get asked, and the answers are always in the same order. So you can't you don't have to like guess where the answer's going to be. It's always in the same place. So you don't need to learn the answers. You just need to learn where is it 1, 2, or 3. Cool. So we're off to charms. It just warps us straight there because it's just easier than trying to walk all the way there. So now we're going to mix a ton of spells together. Now we're going to use Wingardium Leviosa to lift it up. Use Accio to bring it towards us. So the red bar here is actually not where it looks like it is. It's actually slightly further to the left. So you can sort of be screwed by that. See, like that. See that dot for some reason moved ridiculously quickly, so there was no way I was going to be able to get both of them. And if one of them goes past you, then you lose points, essentially. HP4 is okay. Like, it's not as good as the first 3 games, but it's definitely not a bad game. It's better than this game, put it that way. I think Miley might be running it later on in the marathon, possibly. Oh, I need to go grab the owl. It's my fault. Forgetting where the route is. There's an owl here I need to go and talk to. I think I'm going the right way. Need to go down to floor 2. Yeah, there we go. Need to go and help Snape sort of fix some armor statues that he thinks we destroyed. So we should use Reparo again. Reparo. Not Reparo, Reparo. Cool, so now we need to go and get the other one as well. Although we have to play astronomy first, actually. And so with this, they're always the same pictures, so you can just sort of learn where the dots are going to be. So this one's going to go down, up and then down, because it's going to make like a giant like N figure, like a reverse N. And anytime you do this in any percent, it's essentially just the same 3 pictures every single time in the same order. So there's no randomness at all. So you can just learn literally where all the dots are. There we go. Cool. So now we're going to head down to the viaduct to fix this other statue. So we actually get to go through this way, which would have been quicker to get to potions, but it's not open during that bit of the game. In this game, they sort of they lock off different passageways depending on which way they want you to go, and there's no way of avoiding them. Funnily enough, on the DS version, which is pretty much the same game, there's a few skips you can do by going through different passageways to skip like doors and stuff, but you can't do that on this version because they were a lot more careful with locking doors. Cool. I need to talk to the portrait. So now we need to go to Herbology, which is where Neville was hiding. So to get there, we're just going to go across the middle here. And this is one of the weirdest areas of the game in terms of movement. Like, you move in weird directions, so you have to sort of try and remember what each direction's going to take you. Because otherwise you end up going through extra loading screens and that just loses tons of time. Please go through the door. Oh, please don't talk to... No, stop talking to Ron. There we go. Cool. Here's Neville. So now Neville's going to make us play a Herbology minigame. So essentially we just have to cast at the ring that is highlighted. It could be any ring at all. And speed's not really an issue because it goes at the same speed no matter how quickly you get the rings. It's only really the last one you have to be quick with. Cool. So it's pretty easy. Oh, so now we need to head back out. If we can get off the wall. Yeah, sometimes loading screens just take forever and there's not really any reason. And now this portrait's going to tell us that there's a portrait staring at him, so he wants us to cover it up, so there's no portrait staring at him anymore. Why is Harry moving so slowly? Like I said, this game lags. Where am I? Well, that was interesting. Yeah, like I said, this area just has really weird movement. It's not really very easy to get through. Now I'm going to move this bookcase. Cool. And that covers up the eye. Now we can just wait here for the eye to be covered up. It's a very, very laggy cutscene. Very laggy, because this game can't cope with moving objects. Cool, and then we get walked back over, so we don't have to walk back over again. Cool, and now we're going to go and see the room of requirements, which starts us on maybe the most interesting or most boring, depending on how you look at it, part of the run, which is the spell grinding. So now we can power up our spells. So we're gonna only power up one spell in the entire game, and that's Rictus Emperor, because it's the only spell that actually has any use in this speedrun. So we're gonna do it for Harry first, because Harry's in every duel. Essentially, we just have to play this minigame and just hit these buttons. And although it takes about a minute to get through the 2 spell trains you need to do to power it up to full, it's worth it because you save a ton of time in duels later on. And you'll see, like, right near the end of the game, there are a ton of duels that you have to get through. Cool. So we're going to do Harry again. Annoyingly, there's no way of quitting out of these things. So if you accidentally power up a wrong spell, you're sort of stuck. So it loses a lot of time. And the world record actually does an accidental spell teaching. So that loses about half a minute. Yeah, so it's pretty easy. Cool, and that's that done. Now we get onto an actual bit of gameplay. So we have to go down to the trophy room, which is in the Great Hall. So we're going to head down to the Great Hall now. Oh, please go through the loading screen. Yeah, for some reason you don't get walked down the stairs. It's great. This game has weird sort of like decisions when it comes to when it chooses to take you places and when it doesn't. Please go down the stairs. Cool. So now we have to get through this room, which is fairly awkward to get through because if you get stuck on a table, you just do not move. Like that. And we're going to head to the trophy room, which is back here. Oh, that was my fault. Like I said, those that red area is actually... Oh, please stop talking to people. That red area is actually fairly wonky in terms of where it actually registers you hitting it. Now we can head into the trophy room. Please go into the door. Now we're going to fix some vases. If we go down here, we can actually hit both of them from the same screen, so that saves a tiny bit of time. Essentially here, I'm just sort of like alternating fairly quickly between L and R, and it just keeps it in the middle. Yeah, here we can just hit this one as well. And that'll let us go through a portrait in the trophy room, which takes us elsewhere in the castle. Here we go. Go through this portrait. It will let us. Cool. And that takes us all the way to here. So now we go and... Now we're going to go and find Colin Creevy, who is hanging out in this corridor over here. Though the game doesn't actually tell you that, so you just have to guess that Colin Creevy's over here. And unfortunately, some Slytherins have stolen his camera, so we have to go and get his camera off him, which means more dueling. Because this game couldn't think of anything else to do, so it just puts dueling everywhere. Please go through. Thank you very much. Cool, and now we see how powerful Harry actually is. There we go, Draco's down. Cool, and then we're going to use Harry to defeat the other one, because obviously he's a lot more powerful, so he can knock it down in one go. Cool, and then we can use Hermione. So that was actually pretty much a perfect fight. Not really anything else you can do to make those faster. Cool, so now we have to go and find Cho Chang to get her to join as well. Please stop getting stuck on walls. And Cho Chang's always on the stairs out here, so we have to walk all the way back to the stairs to get there. There's Angelina Jolie. For some reason, she never moves, and she also sits in that wall. And in that wall, for some reason. Cho Chang is down the stairs, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, she's just here. Cool. And so essentially, this part of the game, you do like a day like that where you actually move around, and then you do a day of spell learning. So we're back to spell learning again. So you can alternate between them, and it's a good way of breaking up the gameplay, actually. But we're going to power up Hermione now. Yeah, so it gets faster and faster with each one you solve, so it's just a bit slow at the beginning, but it speeds up. Oh, nearly taught Harry a spell. And yeah, if you accidentally click on Harry to teach him a spell, you can't go back to change the character, so you're stuck. So it loses a lot of time, unfortunately. Which is annoying. Thank you, game. Nearly dropped an input there. Cool, and that's that one done. So now we have quite a quick day. We're just going to go to the library and just do some spell learning. Well, not. We're going to go and do some astronomy with Padme and Pansy. I know they just said their names, but I just forget names all the time. Cool. So it's exactly the same. Literally exactly the same images, exactly the same everything else. Oh, please hit it, thank you. Thank you, game. So there are actually harder versions of those mini games, but they're only in 100%. So you don't get to see them in this category, unfortunately. The hard ones are actually quite fun, but yeah, don't get to see them. Cool, and now we're going to level up Ron, and then that's all the leveling up we do in the entire run. Theoretically. And this basically just means that until sort of late game, we can basically knock down any enemy in one hit, so it just saves a ton of time. Later on in the game, the enemies have 200 HP, so it takes two hits rather than one hit, but it's not a huge issue. Cool. So now we have a slightly longer day. We're going to head back down to the Great Hall, because that's the only place we know where to go. So this time we do have to walk down all the stairs, unfortunately. So we're going to watch me try and navigate my way through random loading zones. Yeah, and annoyingly we can't go through that passageway apparently because Umbridge has closed it off, so we need to find a portrait. Luckily there's one just down here. Well, in a couple of screens. Just here, yeah. But he wants a newspaper to read, apparently. Apparently, portraits like newspapers, so I think he actually just wants to know what the headline is, so it's like a secret password. But how he knows what the headline is to the Daily Prophet, I have no clue. Okay, so we're going to go and grab the newspaper from the Great Hall. Because it's just sort of sitting out in the open for some reason. I'm going to try and go down this way, if I can get in. There we go. It's a bit wonky, that collision, but it's slightly quicker to go down that way. Cool, and now we can go back up and see the portrait again. Cool, and that takes us out here, so now we can leave out this way. So now we're going to head to see Hagrid. Oh, that's not the right direction, Harry. But obviously we can't just go and see Hagrid without encountering some resistance. So luckily we get another duel. Luckily this one's fairly quick because we can one-shot all of them. So as long as they don't stun us, we can pretty much do this in three spells. Yeah, this will be fine. So that one's pretty quick. Cool, and now we get to do a new minigame called Thestral Care, essentially. So we're just going to feed this Thestral. And the items the Thestral wants and the order of the items in the menu is completely random, so you just have to hope you're close enough to it to get it quickly enough. Cool. So that can go on for 4 turns if you make mistakes or take too long. So luckily. And annoyingly, some of them look exactly the same. Oh, and here's Hagrid's brother. Sorry, half-brother. Clearly. Cool, and that's the end of that day. So now we get another load of spell learning. However, we're not going to learn any spells this time because we don't need any more. So we're going to go in and then just sort of leave pretty much straight away without learning any spells. As long as I can remember what the actual inputs are for that. Cool. Yeah, so you can literally just leave that and not learn any spells at all. Now we're going to go Transfiguration, which it also just warps us directly to, luckily. And luckily we've already done a Transfiguration challenge, so we know what we're doing now. Cool, and that's the end of that day. And so now we get another load of spell learning, which we're also just going to quit. Any spell learning from now on, it's pretty much just go in, quit out of it, and you're done. But you have to be quite careful, because if you press no and then go into the spell choosing, you're sort of stuck. Please don't get stuck on the stairs, Harry. Just going to keep going down until we hit some text. There's a person down on this one who's going to tell us we can't go any further. Essentially, there's some first years. I think it's they're throwing up on the stairs, if I remember correctly. They've had like a wizard crapper or something. Obviously, we have another duel, because this game just likes to just chuck duels at you constantly. I'm going to use Stupefy, just because that means we don't have to risk him using another shield or stupefying one of us. So essentially, the duels, rather than being sort of anything hard or changing at all, they're just pretty much the same thing over and over and over again, which is great fun. At least they're fairly easy, so it's not a huge issue. There's no risk of like dying in them at all. So now we're going to head up to find this portrait, which will let us get through past that person who's blocking our way. And the portrait's up these stairs, so we have to go up these stairs to get there. They can sometimes be fairly annoying, actually. There we go. And for some reason, Hermione never climbs up these stairs. I've never seen her go up the stairs. Cool, so we have to go and prove that we can be friendly. So we're going to go to the hospital wing and give someone some fire so they feel a bit warmer, because that shows that we're really friendly people. Please work. There we go. Yeah, this room can lag for some reason, and I'm not really sure why it lags as much as it does. Cool. That wasn't too bad. Luckily, both the quick ones were really close, so there was no risk of missing them. I know, I'm talking to the student. Oh. Okay, yes, I know Hermione, thank you very much. Cool, so now we've shown we can be friendly, so we can actually go through the portrait now, which is nice. We can actually go and do stuff. And that will let us go to the library, where we're going to play a new minigame. Yeah, see, Hermione never comes up the stairs. Oh, wrong way. We're going to go up the left side this time. For some reason you can't see them up here, but they are up here. Now we have to try and match the item to what's in the crystal ball. So this one's fairly straightforward. It's quite obvious which one it is normally. Later on, if you play the harder versions of these minigames, it gets a lot harder. They give you some really, really similar items to have to sort of choose between. And there's things like they'll have like mirrors, but it'll be like the way that the sun's shining off the mirror is the difference. So it's something you can't see until it's fully showing. Cool, so we're back to room of requirements. And now we have another short day. We're going to go to Herbology and do some Herbology stuff. Going to play that plant minigame again. Luckily, once again, it just warps us straight there. So it's exactly the same thing. We're just going to do this. In the hard version of this minigame, the rings spawn incredibly quickly. And if you don't keep track of where they're spawning, you will lose, because you have to get every ring perfectly. There's no leniency or leeway. And that's the end of that day. And so now we get to head back to the room of requirements again. There's a lot of like very short days in the middle of the game, because they couldn't really think of like ways of padding out different like grabbing DA members and stuff, so they just sort of give you a lot of lessons. So like here we're going to go to Care for Magical Creatures, which is just the Thestral minigame again. It's there. Some of these things you feed the Thestral look very similar. Like there's two chicken bones which are very similar colours, and there's two beetles which are very similar colours. You have to be very careful when you're trying to choose the right one. Cool, and now we're back here again. Obviously, we don't need to learn anything, so we're just going to skip it. Now we actually have to do some stuff. Of course, we're going to head down to the entrance hall. And once again, we're pretty much having to walk down the entire staircase for some reason. Mainly because there's things like, there's like a pile of rubbish there. I think it's actually leaves, if I remember correctly. They're all for 100% things, so normally if you cast in like piles of leaves or broken armor, you get different items that give you percentage in this game pretty much. So you can just ignore them for any percent. So now we're in the entrance hall, so we can go and talk to Fred and George. Now we can head out here. There's another door here. Luckily, there's no Draco this time, but they all have they both have 200 health now, so it takes 2 hits now to take everyone down. Unfortunately, we're going to use Stupefy. Cool. So that's actually a fairly decent fight. Oh, please go down. This bridge is also an absolute pain to move down. You can just get stuck on stuff all the time. Well, now we need to get past this bit of rock. You want to keep it fairly in the middle so Harry actually keeps moving. If you move too far, Harry will fall off one edge, which you don't want. now we're going to make a potion. Oh, that's not right. So essentially, the order of which you have to do things, you always have to do two ingredients, then A, then one ingredient and R, then one ingredient and LA, and then two ingredients is always the same. It just changes what ingredients and how many you need of each one. Oh, I lied. 2 ingredients and LA. And you can't just hold down L because that would be too easy. So you have to mash L, but like you can't just mash it. You have to sort of slowly press it in a rhythm to do it at a good speed. There we go. So we made our potion. So now we need to go to Umbridge's office, I think, if I remember correctly. Please cast a spell. Yeah, see, like that was too quick. I wouldn't have been able to get that one, annoyingly. So it loses a bit of time having to wait for it to go down. Cool, so now we can head into Umbridge's office. Let me go through the door, Hermione, thank you. Hello game, please let me go through, thank you very much. So there's actually another little minigame here with some prefects. And you're meant to sort of like wait till they stop looking and then slowly move past. You can pretty much just sort of do this. Yeah, so they don't really ever catch you. Of course, now we need to go see Fred and George again. Please stop talking to me, Hermione and Ron. Like I said, text mashing in this game is an absolute nightmare when you're trying to do it quickly. Please go through the door. Please go through the door. Thank you. For some reason that didn't work. Of course, so luckily they've cleaned up all the stuff and there's no issues getting down here again. So we can just go straight down to Fred and George. Cool, and that's that day done. Now we have another room of requirements visit. There's only 2 more of these left, luckily. So, only 2 more chances for accidental spell learning. Cool, so we only have 1 more of those left after this, luckily. Now we have more divination homework, so once again we have to go and do some mini-gaming, which is pretty much all this game is. That is no clue. That one. Me being very slow. It was the wing difference. That is that one. It has stuff in it. That is that one because it has the same wing length. And that has to be, I don't know, because it's to do with the stripes. It's that one. Because the other one had an extra black stripe that one didn't have. And that's that one because it has 3 prongs. And we're done. Cool, so luckily it's not another room requirements yet. We have another task first. So once again, we need to head all the way down the stairs. There we go. Moaning Myrtle. Oh, please stop talking. Thank you. So we need to head to the Forbidden Forest to grab some plants for this student for his potion. For some reason they put like a bathroom on the top of the clock tower. No clue why that is at all. Yeah, and see, Ron and Hermione just sort of get stuck all the time in this room. Cool, so we have another duel. Because it's not Order of the Phoenix without duels. Okay, so that loses me a turn. Haven't missed any spell inputs yet, which is nice. Normally I miss a couple during a run. Gotta use Stupefy. Cool, not too bad. Cool, so now we can head out to the Forbidden Forest. And essentially we're just going to grab... There's 5 plants in the forest and we just have to grab all 5 of them. It's the only time we really get to explore this area of the game. And they're all in these, like, tree stumps. We have to be very careful that we hit them correctly so we don't lose a ton of time. Yeah, so that one you can hit early. You can hit it from the screen before, so that just saves a tiny bit of time in, like, not having to stop moving and cast a spell. To be honest, this game does have some lovely backgrounds. Like there are some backgrounds that are drawn very nicely, just marred by some of the gameplay. To be honest. Of course, there's one more stump in here. Cool, and now we need to go and help make a potion. Luckily we get warped straight there, so we have to walk back out the forest again. And there's still a few more potions after this one, so you still get to see some fun potions. I'm getting very high numbers for this one. Giving me a lot of big numbers of ingredients. Cool. And now we have our final room of requirements visit. So, luckily we don't have to go there anymore after this. Cool, so no additional spell learning, luckily, which is nice. Now we get some story. We head back here. Need to talk to Lupin. So now we need to go and talk to Sirius Black, who's in the room that Ron was in at the beginning of the game. Oh, please go upstairs, thank you. I don't know, Nick, so I have no clue. Like, they're not particularly fun, they're not particularly well thought out. They just sort of, I think people decide that at Harry Potter people want to do potions and Quidditch, so they just put in potions and Quidditch games, and neither of them end up being particularly great. Cool, so now we need to head to potions. I say once again all the way down the stairs. Out here. We have another duel. Oh, that was not the right spell, Harry. Thank you for not moving. Cool, so this is going to be a bad duel then. Okay. Oh, okay, it's not. He didn't stun me, so it's not too bad. Just lost a bit of time selecting the wrong spell. And also a fun fact about this next screen coming up, there's a this pile of rocks here. If you save the game and reload the game, it disappears. So if you after you've done the tightrope walking minigame, if you basically reload the game, that texture just doesn't reload with it for some reason. Cool. Hello, Snape. Cool. So we get to do that again a bit later on. But it's essentially just pressing the right buttons at the right time. Cool, so we're back here. I forgot we have to do this one more because we have a, it gives us a cutscene. So actually I lied, we do come back there one more time. Cool, so now we get all the story stuff. Oh, please stop talking to me. So we can go and use the trophy room to get through to Hagrid's hut, which is where we need to go next. Morning, Manda. Come just in time for the end of the best game of the marathon. Cool, so off to Hagrid's hut. For some reason the arrow points the other way, but it doesn't actually, like, you don't have to follow it. It just, that one time the arrow decides to point completely the wrong direction for no reason. I think it's just something they missed. Oh, go down the stairs. I really doubted Nick, so this has been not a great run. Our world record in this game is actually fairly decent. I don't know, what's the time at right now? Like, I might be able to see how much there is left. Oh, please go the right way. And there's another door here. Oh, I got stunned. That's always helpful. Ron once again got stunned. So this has been quite a bad duel because I've had Ron stunned 3 times now. As long as he doesn't stun Hermione, I'm fine. Cool, okay. Yeah, this is definitely not going to be world record. Oh dear. Sorry about all the coughing. Cool, so now we have our end of year exams. So there's 2 sets of these, so we're going to go down to the Great Hall and do the first set of our final exams. Yeah, so honestly, for some reason they forget they can walk you down the stairs. There's a lot of bits later on in the game where you just have to walk all the way down, unfortunately. Cool, so time for our exams. And it's essentially just, they give you all the minigames you've played so far in a row. You just have to do them all in a row, pretty much. So there's nothing too hard, so it's just going to be playing through these. Yeah, the DS version is actually pretty similar to this version. It actually has a few more sequence breaks. Oh, that was not the right button. I'm good at this game. Yeah, we're just literally just going back through and replaying every minigame we've played so far. Luckily, that was close by, so I could hit both of those at the same time. Cool, and next we have History of Magic, so more questions. So like I said earlier, these questions are all... the answers are always in the same... They're always in the same order, so you don't have to work out which one is the right answer. You can just read the question and go to the right one, 1, 2, or 3. Also, Flipendo is the answer to one of those questions. A lot of these minigames are actually a bit more fun on the DS because things like potion making and stuff, so that you can actually use the touchscreen and stuff to do stuff, but this is all just sort of button mashing. And we're done. Cool, so that's the end of hours 1. So we will come back later and do some more tests, but for now we have to go and see Snape again to do some more Occlumency. Forgot you have to go through here first. Swaps you straight down, luckily. So obviously this minigame was really hard, so we have to have another test in it just before we do anything else. This only really comes up one time after this. On the very final boss. Cool. So now we have our second owls. So we have the rest of the minigames we haven't seen yet. So I have to go all the way back down the stairs again. Cool. So now we have like Herbology, Thestral Feeding, Astronomy, Divination, all the fun stuff. Yeah, this is they all the same speed as they were originally, so they don't make them any harder. So you have a lot of time to do these. Cool, so now we can just sort of go side to side rather than going all the way out. If you make a wrong move, you fail the minigames, you have to do it again. It's two-pronged. That's without a hole. That is the non-broken one. It's the one with the stem. Which one's that? That is that one. Because it had a different marking at the bottom of the fork. Some of those you have to wait a while for it to show up, otherwise you will guess and probably get it wrong. Yeah, to be honest, the mini-games are probably the best part of this game. Like, they're actually fairly fun. Although this one's really dull, it's just the same thing like 4 times in a row. Not really anything interesting here. But if you're playing this game for the first time, things like the history of magic questions and stuff are actually... You wouldn't know that they were all in the same order all the time, so... Cool. And we're done. So now we're into the final stretch of the game, so we only have 2 things left to do, really. We have this sort of side questy part, and then we have the final section of the game. So I'm not sure what time we're at now, but there's maybe another 10-12 minutes left. If I'm guessing correctly. So we should hopefully finish Underestimate. Even though I didn't really do too much practice of this beforehand, that's quite nice. This game's actually really easy to practice because if you complete the game at the end, you can actually go back to each chapter and essentially do the entire thing as if you're doing it for the first time. So you can just practice stuff chapter by chapter to just sort of get a bearing on where you're going and what you need to do in each area. Of course, we're going to head to the trophy room. Fred and George are here. Cool. So essentially what we're doing is we're helping Fred and George pull off some pranks around the castle. Thank you, game. Yes, I know, Hermione, we can use the portrait. Cool, so we're going to go to the Clock Tower courtyard first. Essentially, we just go into all the courtyards in the game and casting spells to cause some mischief and mayhem. Oh, please go downstairs. Thank you. Cool, and now we have another duel. Okay, that's going to be a pain. That's going to lose me a turn. As long as he doesn't cast Stupefy on Hermione now. Cool, we're fine. Cool, so we're going to burn these chests, which are in each courtyard. Yeah, like, see, I wouldn't have been able to grab both of those, so I had to take the hit. Cool, and look, we swamped the courtyard. So we're going to do that for every single courtyard in the game. Pretty much. Cool, and now we're heading to Transfiguration. And annoyingly, we can't just go through the second floor corridor, we have to go through the entrance hall. So we have to go all the way around. And we have to do that because the second floor corridor is locked off, so we can't go through it. Annoyingly, because that would save a ton of time. It also means we have to hit these guys here, so we have to duel these guys again. Because the end of this game is literally just sort of a ton of dueling for no reason. Well, hopefully he doesn't stupefy now. Cool. Yeah, so a lot of these duels come down to getting good RNG, so getting a good world record would be just sort of grinding out this game until you get decent RNG on those duels and don't get stunned, which would be an absolute nightmare. Please go through properly. Stones are still there. Let's head all the way up here to the Transfiguration Courtyard to swamp the Transfiguration Courtyard. And it's meant to be sort of like you have to try and find out where the chest is in the courtyard, so you have to look all around, but we know exactly where it is, so we don't have to worry about that, we can just go straight to it. Though it can be a bit annoying to get to sometimes because of how the loading zones work in this courtyard. Please go through. And for some reason, every time you come into this room, that cutscene plays again and again, so it really lags that room out. Cool, so up here. There it is. Please burn it. Oh, nearly missed that one because I was looking at chat. Cool, now we just have to go back to the entrance hall. And we're done. Pretty much. We've got like the final stretch of the game where we go to the Ministry of Magic. But other than that, we are pretty much at the end of the game. Maybe about 5-6 minutes left. %, would actually have would be doing a lot at this point. So just before this challenge, you have to do all the like extra mini games that you can do. So like they do like an easy version, a medium version, and a hard version of each mini game. So you have to do all of those for 100%. So that takes quite a while to do. Cool, Nixo. Yeah. Oh, please. Thank you, game. Cool, so we're heading back up here. Go and talk to Fred and George in the entrance hall. Over here. And now we're into the final couple of minutes. So now we get some story stuff. We get to go to the Ministry of Magic, and we get to finally go and find the magic orb that we keep seeing in our dreams. Cool, so from here you're going to head this way. Now we have a little maze, but it's very easy. So if you get lost here, you probably, like, if you're running this game, you shouldn't really be getting lost here. So we're going to go left. We're going to left at the end here. Go right here. And it puts us right in front of where we need to be. So now we just have a ton of duels to do. Like, I think there's like 5 if I remember correctly. So it's just Sirius on his own against these 3 guys. And they can actually defeat you quite easily because they can use Stupefy and that sort of screws you over. But luckily I should be fine here. I don't think there's any way he can kill me now. Yeah. So now we're fighting Lucius Malfoy. He takes 3 hits. Unfortunately, we're going to have to use Stupefy. Luckily, you get healed between each fight, so you don't have to worry about losing health during each fight. Now Harry joins in. Wrong spell. Cool. Okay, so we've lost a turn. That's a very helpful game. Thank you so much for that. Why did you not hit that? I was pressing A, so I'm not sure why that didn't work. Okay, that's not too bad. So we should be fine. I keep pressing the wrong directions. Cool. So we can't actually win this one, so we just sort of choose the spells that are the quickest. Annoyingly, Bellatrix Lestrange can take forever deciding she wants to kill you. There we go, like that. You can't actually beat her, so that's fine. Now we have Dumbledore versus Voldemort, which is very quick. And then we're on to the final part of the game. So time is coming up very quickly now. It's just ready on time. Cool. And time. Cool. It's a bit weird trying to time the ending there because it comes up very quickly after you do the final stuff. Cool, so that was Order of the Phoenix on Game Boy Advance. I think the last time this was in Potterthon was Potterthon 2, maybe, when Purple ran it, I think. Well, that's a while ago now. Either Potterthon 2 or Potterthon 3.
Yeah,
so that's... Well, thank you. But yeah, the game doesn't have any like proper credits. It just takes you back to the castle. So...
So yeah, thank you very much for the run.
That's okay. What was the final time, by the way?
1:33:46.
Oh, that's not too bad actually. It's only a minute off world record.
That's pretty good, I would say.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go then because it's not not really anything to show off at all. I'm going to let it go over to, I think is it minigame percent next?
Yes, it's HP5 PC minigames percent, which I don't think have been showed off ever on anything. So yeah, we have a few minutes of transition break as